Hello everybody, it's Andy here, and today we are going to look at the latest FAQs and updates. Let's be clear, I did not just say the word balance updates because there are not those. We've already had those. We're now looking at the FAQ designer commentary thing. So if you're thinking this is FAQs and erratas, this is not they fixed Frenzy. This is not they changed how cults work. They did, but not. Yeah, okay, we'll look at it, right? So let's dive in. Let's take a look. However, I will quickly I just want to get it out there. This is fixing rules, and for the big things that we've all talked about, cults, Hearthkin, Felgor, etc., they are not doing a balance patch on them. They are fixing minor typos. This is a good thing. We want those minor typos fixed. This is not changing how the game truly plays at like the high end, how are people going to beat things now kind of thing. So, let's power through, shall we? Did we want to start on Chaos Cults? Let me have a look. Actually, we're starting on the core rules change. Why? I don't know. So, they've made a slight change to the Ashes of Faith campaign rulebook, which we're not going to read because it's narrative. Cool. They've changed how the Close Quarters rules works for forward deploy. They've just clarified that you make the forward deploy after the scouting step. As I said, this is not fundamentally changing how we're going to be playing this game, okay? This is minor clarifications, all right? Let's talk about the Chaos Cult, however. So we're excited to see what they've done here because maybe, and they have done this in the past, they have not always put a nerf to a team in the balanced data slate. They have in the past put it into an FAQ errata. I think that sometimes they've done it legitimately, as in this was an actual typo that we did not intend, and then other times they've done it like subtly, on the sly, if you will, thinking we're going to make this a standard errata FAQ, but this isn't what we originally intended, but this is how we're doing it, like the balance change. Anyway. So this is we've got a few interesting things here. So we start with mutation. The first thing is a narrative thing. It's just your devotee returns to being a devotee. Cool. Then we have once in each strategy phase added to how you mutate. This is just stopping you from spamming strategic ploy. I had never seen anybody do this, but I do see how you could consider this is how it's written. Basically, you potentially could have like kind of spammed how many times you're mutating, I guess, or what you're doing in your mutation. And they're saying, no, you just do it the once. There you go. Cool. Then we have a few FAQs, which is cool. When completing a group activation, if the first devotee operative mutates into a mutant operative during its activation, I still select a devotee operative afterwards to fulfill the group activation requirements, assuming I am able? Yes. So this is good to know. This came up as like a big old topic O debate, where we were trying to figure out if you have a guy that mutates off of being a devotee into being a mutant, is that it? Yeah. Do you still GA2? A lot of people were having issues. Honestly, we didn't come to a satisfying conclusion on an answer as a community, but basically this allowed for some pretty dodgy shenanigans. I think that this is the correct way to do it because it means they're not able to do as many activations, which is a good thing, because otherwise you were, every time you got a mutant, you were getting more activations. Now, not quite as much. Still probably an issue, but whatever. And then if I want to mutate a friendly operative at the end of a combat in which a friendly devotee operative inflicted damage and was not incapacitated, must it be that operative that mutates, or can it be any friendly operative? It must be that operative. I had never seen anybody argue that you could mutate any of the devotees, but they clarified good, no issues. Superb. Alright, we continue on to the inquisitorial agents. Now, I'm going to be honest, there's quite a lot of text here. Not much of it is interesting. A lot of it is just, oh, by the way, you know, like the first two things, like other than trooper is all they added. So there we go. Cool. The gun servitor is much a well-needed clarification, where they've added excluding a gun servitor operative or vice versa. Basically, when the gun servitor activates, it has one APL, but if it is within 3 inches of any Inquisitor agent model, it gets another APL. However, we all know that you are always within X of yourself. So technically, the gun servitor always had 2 APL. Now they've changed that. Cool. We then get something about narrative in the card game we're going to ignore because we don't care, because we then have some interesting ones. Let's start at the top. When using the Hex Assist operative's Chasten unique action, if I select a Felgor Ravager operative and select its Frenzy ability, could it then be incapacitated in the normal manner? If it already had a Frenzy token, would it be incapacitated immediately? Answer yes to both. So that's very interesting. So the Hex Assist Chasten ability basically says that unique action, says that whoever uses it on cannot use an ability, right? And of course, the Felgor Ravager's ability was Frenzy, which is they stay alive. Or, after frenzying, they have a token, and they're saying you can remove the token, and once the token's gone, they're dead. So that's good to clarify, and I think actually, if I were to sit down and think about it a little bit more, probably means that we can apply that ruling to many other things in the game that possibly sound like maybe Chasten shouldn't work on them, but I think now it will. It's saying pretty much anything, you can stop that ability from occurring. Off the top of my head, obviously Chaos Cults, I assume that therefore mutate is an ability, and the Hex Assist could stop it. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but yeah. If I have a Kasrkin Trooper operative as ancillary support, can I use its Elite Trooper ability to use Elite points? Answer no. Good to clarify. People argued this quite a bit, and I think the general consensus was that yes, the standard Kasrkin Trooper could use its Elite point ability that was on its datasheet, because it was the only model that had a way to generate Elite points. I think this is definitely the right answer. I was never quite satisfied with the idea that you could use the Elite points on a trooper, on a Kasrkin Trooper, because yes, you've generated an Elite point, but you don't have any way to, like, that Elite point does nothing because you don't have access to it, so I'm glad they clarified. And then do Exaction Squad ancillary support operatives benefit from the addition to Ruthless Efficiency as found in the balanced data for Exaction Squad? Yes. So this is good, I suppose. Yeah, nice. I don't know why the answer would be no, but at least it clarifies that you are using the data sheets and rules from the other books. You are not using the one here, you're not stuck on that, so yeah, cool, nice. Warp Coven. Whoa. So here is, I mean, fingers crossed we're going to get something that's like a little sneaky buff, right? I haven't looked, I don't know what they've changed. Okay, they've got one FAQ. If I use the schemes of change tactical ploy, is the new TAC-op unrevealed? Yes, it's revealed when it's specified. So if that time has passed, you won't be able to score any VP from it. Cool. Kasrkin, hey, you know what comes up with Kasrkin? They're the gangsters, they're the absolute pimps of the universe, and that means that if you're a subscriber to my channel, I'd like to give you a big double hello. You were waiting for it, I was waiting for it. I didn't know it was coming now, neither did you. Guys, if you like that double hello, if you liked a pleasantry that's given to you twice, consider liking, subscribing, leaving a comment right now. That'd be awesome. I'm going to power through. Let's keep going. And I'll do the waffle about how to support me and stuff at the end, okay? So we've just got one? Just one. Okay. All right. Kasrkin Demo Trooper Proximity Special Rule. Okay, so you ignore all ballistic skill modifiers. Cool, so that makes sense, I guess. Why should a mine be affected by you being hurt? Why is your mine going to be less accurate? I suppose from a skill perspective, you could argue that, oh, it's symbolizing the Marine being injured and so therefore pressing his detonation button at the wrong time. It's a Kasrkin, not a Marine though. But it's a proximity, isn't it? Right, never mind. Moving on. Hyrotech Circle. I'm a big fan. Can you see them here? Are they in shot? I don't think so, but I have my Hyrotech right here. they're not going to get a buff, that's for sure. Are the effects of a Chronomancer counter-temporal nanomine action a modifier to an operative's movement characteristic? No. It affects the distance they can move, but it doesn't affect... okay. So that's an interesting one. That's a good one to clarify, because I think this is generally accepted as, yes, this is how this works. I haven't seen anybody argue against it, but it is such a weird thing that it's good to clarify. Basically, there are some abilities in the game, in fact a core ability, that says you can never have your movement characteristic lowered below 4 inches to circle. Well, the only way in the game that can occur is the Chronomancer's counter-temporal nanomine, because it doesn't change your movement characteristic, it just changes the amount you can move, which is really cool, very powerful ability. But also, because it doesn't affect your movement characteristic, it also affects how far you dash. So, of course, if you're unaware, if you are injured, you move circle less in a normal move or a charge, but it doesn't affect your dash, because your dash is not a normal move, blah, blah, blah. But the counter-temporal nanomine does, because it just affects how far you move. Cool. Hearthkin salvagers. What do we got? Is this? No. So we've just got one update? Okay. Hearthkin locator, early detection ability. Change the second sentence to read, in addition, enemy operatives cannot move before the battle begins, although your opponent can still select the recon scouting option for the purposes of determining initiative. Okay, fine. Again, just a clarification, can still be picked, but you don't get to do it, so fair enough. Exaction squad, what do we got? We've got dispense justice strategic plan. Oh, until the end of the turning point. This was needed. I'm glad they added this in. So in case you don't know, dispense justice strategic ploy did not have a time limit on it. It just said, you get this thing. And because it didn't have, if you think about how rules are written, there needs to be a timing, an on and an off switch. Obviously the on switch is typically the strategic phase, right? And then it will normally have an off switch, like after the activation or until the end of the turning point, something like that. But this didn't have it, so technically, by the rules as they were written, it did not turn off. And so you had to use it once in the game, and then it continued for the whole game. I like to imagine that nobody actually argued this was how it was intended to work. And I also like to imagine, me being the naive young chap that I am, that nobody actually played it as it lasts the whole game, because that's just not how any rule in Kill Team has ever worked. Who knows though, right? Who knows? Did they get anything else? Oh, they do. If a Chaos Cult operative is arrested and then mutates into another operative, is it still arrested? Answer yes. Okay. Cool. Interesting. Good. Good to know. Also, kind of, in a sense, answers two questions there. When you're arrested, you can't do anything. You can only pass. So I suppose there's no reason that this needed to be asked, but again, it's part of the FAQ, so good to know. You can still mutate when arrested, which one could have argued you would not be able to do, but yes, you can. But then you are still arrested. Yeah, okay. I'm just thinking off the top of my head, there's the Torments have 11 wounds. And so if you get mutated from a mutant to a Torment, you go from being able to be arrested to not able to be arrested. But this says you are still arrested. I mean, that's pretty clear. That's pretty clear. I suppose I'd have to go and look at how the wording of arrested actually is written down. I guess it depends on timing triggers again. Love timing triggers. Big fan, 10-10, would bang. Love timing triggers. And is it almost like frenzy, where a token is placed upon you and you are frenzied until the token is removed, essentially? And so, in a similar way, you are arrested until the token is removed, and this FAQ is saying you retain that token, doesn't matter that you've mutated. Or is it something that is checked at different points, and so as soon as you action, you then are not able to be arrested, and so that debuff essentially goes away? I don't know. Oh, sure would be nice if there was somewhere I could go that would answer these questions, wouldn't it? Oh well. Right, and then we get Felgor Ravagers. An update to the Frenzy ability. Ooh, this could be it, lads. This could be it. Okay. Add the following. Italicized text is new for this update. Oh god, what's italicized? I can't see from this distance, I'm reading the whole thing. Your opponent treats a Felgor Ravager operative as being incapacitated, instead of when it would be incapacitated normally. Okay. When it gains a Frenzy token for the following purposes. Scoring VP... Oh, okay. Oh, right. They just added that bit. They just added in brackets instead of when it would be incapacitated normally. So... Oh. Okay. I might have hyped that one up a bit too much. My bad, guys. My bad. And then we have an FAQ. If my opponent is using the implant tac-op, do strikes that implant a Felgor Ravager operative with a Frenzy token count towards the strikes need to incapacitate it? No. Huh. Okay. Interesting. Good to clarify. Is it the right clarification? Strongly debatable. Strongly debatable. But, you know, as mentioned, the whole point of the FAQ errata is not to change the balance of the game. It's to just clarify the rules as written. And I think generally the only time they don't clarify something that they know is an issue is when they kind of intend to change it, because then you would have, like, as a core rule, like in a balanced data slate coming up, because then you would have to not only change the balanced data slate, but then go back and change the FAQ, which they seem to not like to do, which is understandable. If you know something's broken and not working, why update part of it, only to know you're going to remove part of it later? Well, how about that? What do we think about that, everybody? Let's have a think. It was fine. Ooh, that's about all I can say. There wasn't anything in there that has really changed how we're going to play the game, as mentioned. Some good clarifications. I will say big props to GW for continuing to give us these clarifications in a, if not timely manner, you know, rip the tournament scene because of Chaos Cults, Felgor Ravagers, etc., and rip Hearthkin Salvagers, am I right? But in a consistent manner. And I will say, for all their failings, they are consistently giving us rules updates. I really like to see that. Really good. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. So, you know, props where it's deserved. And I feel like now I have to go back and rescind where I said for all of their failings. They may have many as a company, but Kill Team's a pretty solid game, let's be honest. So that wasn't really meant as a dig at Kill Team, but 40k. Jesus, those Eldar, right? What the hell? Anyway, never mind. Whatever. Yeah, so cool. Thanks for watching. I don't really have anything else to add. That's the updates. I would have liked to have seen more. You know what? Okay, fine. I'll add one thing. Right. They could have done this in an FAQ errata type thing instead of doing it as a balanced data slate. When it comes to the Warp Coven, they could have removed the wording on their psychic ability that said that you couldn't do certain things more than once, and that would have been a way to buff Warp Coven, allowing them to do the same thing, psychic power, more than once a turn on different models, or the same model. There you go. So they could have done that, but they didn't. That would have been nice to see. Cool. Is that it? Yeah, that's it. All right. Hey everybody, if you made it to the end of the video, I'd like to give you a big triple hello. Wow. Wow. So wholesome. Sometimes I question my wholesomeness, if I'm honest. Then I remember Kill Team's pretty cool. Thanks for watching, everybody. Oh, hey, if you like what I'm doing here, consider checking me out on Patreon. Very genuinely, I only have a channel anymore because of my patrons. So it is genuine. Like, what can I say? I'm a sentimental old, I was going to say a rude word there, person. And my patrons mean a lot to me. The support means a lot to me, so thank you very much. Anyway, more videos coming. I'm back from holiday. It's time to get creating. Stay gangster.